He exemplifies all the attributes that Scouting is working so hard to build: great life skills, leadership, character, honor, and of course something Peter excels at, being an exemplary citizen and tirelessly supporting his community. He's one of the finest men I've ever met. He's a great father to Oliver, a great partner to Megan, a friend, a leader, and one of the strongest supporters of our community. Please join me in recognizing Boulder's Distinguished Citizen of the Year Award. That goes to Peter Braun.
Thank you, Al, for your really kind words. I remember being at the Harvest House when we had 100 people at the I Have a Dream luncheon and how we grew that to 1,000 people over a period of time. And I appreciate our friendship over the last 20 years. I want to begin by congratulating the First Responder of the Year and his family. I also want to congratulate the Eagle Scout of the Year and his family. You should all be very proud of your accomplishments. I'd like to thank my family. There's my family. They're up here. Oliver, 10 years old, and Megan. Megan's a dermatologist at Kaiser. Thanks for giving us a wave. Also, a big thank you to all the medical professionals who have joined us tonight. Yeah, there you are, Jen Spica. All right, we got 2 tables back there, all the medical professionals. Thank you for all that you do each and every day for our community. It's really important. I want to thank the committee that organized tonight's dinner. Harry, Laura, Patricia, Steve, and Brian have worked like crazy to make this happen. When I mentioned my award to a few friends, they were surprised because they didn't know I was a Boy Scout. Well, to receive this award, you don't need to be in Scouts. So I want to let you know something. I was not a Cub Scout. I was not a Boy Scout. I certainly wasn't an Eagle Scout, but I wish I had been in Scouting. Do you know why? Because the Scouts I know are really handy. If I look at Mick Dickinson in the back, could you stand up quick, Mick? And Michael Curl in the back, both Eagle Scouts from Vail that came down for this event. They are really handy. Or like the super fixer in our lives, Steve Barta over here. He's unbelievable. If you need something to be done, he's the guy. They see a problem, these Scouts, and they fix it. I wish I was handy around the house. I'm not. I wish I was handy at fixing my son Oliver's toys. I'm not. It's a little embarrassing when something breaks in our house and my son cries out, "Mom, can you fix this?" Tonight I'm going to talk about 3 things. I'm going to talk about mentors, teamwork, and I'm going to share a story only a few people know. Let me start with mentors. Mentors have been instrumental throughout my life. Those are my clients. Actually, that's after a bad day in the market. That's actually Bear Carlson and me. There's Bear back there, and this was after the 2013 flood, and we were out in these hazmat suits for a full day of, I don't know, craziness. And so the mentors have been instrumental throughout my life. Unfortunately, they've all passed. My most important mentors were my parents. There's my parents, my dad, also Peter, my mom. They were very giving of their time in Buffalo, New York with different charities. My mom volunteered at the Red Cross and ran fundraisers at our church. My dad was always involved in projects from Rotary to education to being the leader of the local and national Home Builders Association. Both of them were excellent role models. We had a great life in Buffalo until the economy fell apart and my parents nearly went bankrupt. A very difficult but important lesson in my young life. You always want to be diversified. My dad wasn't. He was 100% real estate. It was a hard lesson in managing adversity at that time. My second mentor was Bob Mack, and he was my tennis coach in Buffalo. He helped me to develop my tennis game. He was a mathematician who transitioned to teaching tennis. We would work together on strategies for matches, and I was able to win the City of Buffalo Men's Doubles Championship, be the Men's Open Singles finalist, and be inducted into the Buffalo Tennis Hall of Fame, which you see on the right there. There's my tennis group back there. His guidance helped me to earn a tennis scholarship at Ohio State. Sorry, John. He's a Michigan guy.
Go Blue.
For my tennis friends here tonight, he attended the tennis conferences in the 1970s with Dennis Vandermeer and Tim Galloway of Intertennis fame. He then taught adult coaches in Buffalo how to teach these methods, and he included me as a 16-year-old at no charge. Years later, I was able to teach tennis in Hawaii, Vail, and Aspen, and play tennis on 6 different continents. My third mentor that some of you here in this room know is Jerry Moore. Jerry Moore hired me 33 years ago to come to Boulder and work at Payne Weber. I had just received an MBA at Ohio State, and I was looking for work. A friend suggested I interview with Jerry in Boulder. I was hired. I rolled into Boulder in 1992. Everything I owned was tightly packed into my little white Honda Accord. I only knew one person in town. Jerry was known in the investment industry as being one of the best trainers and coaches for new financial advisors. He put me under his wings, as he had done for so many others before me. His guidance and mentorship were instrumental in my surviving in the early days and in building an investment advisory career. Even after retiring, Jerry would come to Boulder and share his wisdom with my CU interns. I ended up being his final trainee. His coaching, long hours, hard work, and a good amount of luck have allowed me to grow roots in this great community of ours. I truly appreciate my good fortune and the friendships I have made over the years. I've tried to follow Jerry's example by working with younger adults on my team, CU interns, including Scott Cusack that flew in from Austin, and with AmeriCorps volunteers, including Andrea Miller in the back, who lived with our family for about a year. Now for teamwork. I'd like to thank my team at UBS. They've helped me build a great business and a career from zero, and they supported me in various charitable activities over the years. We've worked together as a cohesive unit to help our clients with their investments and financial planning. I want to thank our branch manager, Tyler Hutchins. Appreciate that. I want to thank Gail Dubois, who's here tonight, and worked with us for 21 years. A lot of you know her, and recently retired. Thank you for coming. Plus Anjali Sandhu and Tennessee Lee, who joined our team 3 years ago, have been great additions. Finally, Stuart Swan has been a fantastic colleague and a friend for the past 17 years. It's longer than I've known my wife. Really, it is quite a team. Thank you, guys and girls. Now to the story I could tell you. I could tell you about hiking to Everest Base Camp with rock and roll musicians, or summiting Mount Kilimanjaro with a group of blind hikers, or the time I was playing tennis in Thailand and I got on the wrong bus and almost ended up in Cambodia. It's a true story. It was very scary. But I decided to tell you a very personal story. A story the selection committee that chose me for this award does not know. I just told my son Oliver this story 2 weeks ago. I'll tell you why I'm so honored to be the Distinguished Citizen of the Year and so very happy to be here. A story about why I cried uncontrollably on my son's 4th birthday. As I mentioned, Oliver is 10. You see, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer almost exactly 7 years ago. Yeah, cancer. Unfortunately, it was not a normal type of prostate cancer. On the contrary, it was an extremely rare and very aggressive form of cancer. It wasn't 1 in a million, but it was darn close to it. In the period of just a couple weeks, I went from being completely healthy to let's watch this, to having a biopsy with a Gleason score of 9, which I knew wasn't good, to needing surgery. Then 3 weeks later, in a routine scan, a few days before the surgery, I got a phone call. Bad news. The cancer had spread to my bones and lymph nodes. Stage 4 cancer. Party over. I went through 3 rounds of chemo. It wasn't working. We had to do something else. My wife and I completed our wills in the morning. Later that day, we flew to New York City to visit Mount Sinai Hospital. We saw an oncologist who had experience treating this rare variant. They added another drug to my chemo and 5 more rounds. This was followed by 37 rounds of radiation in Denver. During this time, I was not very optimistic about my chances. Most of my hair disappeared. I avoided people unless I was wearing a hat. There are several reasons I chose to keep my diagnosis private until now, including protecting my young son. As I mentioned, I just told him about it 2 weeks ago. I reviewed the Social Security survivor benefits for my wife and child. I looked at obituaries in the paper with more interest, and I would read the details. A few days after the radiation treatments ended, we had a small 60th birthday party in June of 2019 for what potentially might be my last. 3 months went by as we waited to have another scan. On August 30th, 2019, 1 year to the day after my initial diagnosis, I received a phone call from my oncologist, Dr. Lammers. There was no sign of cancer. It was a total shock. It was unbelievable. Since my full recovery, I've helped with this event, and I've been the MC. So, John? Okay. Also, I rejoined the I Have a Dream board. At UBS, we've grown our business over 14% per year. I also won the Colorado State Open 65 and over singles tournament. Even more importantly, I watched my son win his first gold medal, and when he did that, I cried. My goal when he was 4, and I didn't think I was going to make it, was to ski a lot with him. It's because I figured that might be the only thing that he would remember from me. We've also had many great family vacations and adventures. I want to thank my wife, Megan, for helping me through this really difficult time. I want to thank Alice. Alice used to watch Oliver, and she would pray with me in the mornings. I thank you for that. I also want to thank Dr. Andy Cherniak, who isn't here tonight, Dr. Michael Lichtman, who helped us immensely, and Lisa Troxa for all of your help. Thank you, Lisa. You can now tell your husband the story because you kept it quiet for 7 years. I want to give special thanks to Dr. Mark Fisher, my urologist, and Dr. Austin Lammers, who are here tonight. Could you both please stand up? Thank you guys for all that you have done for me. You are my distinguished citizens. Thank you. I'm very grateful and I'm very lucky to be here tonight, and I really appreciate this award. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.